Kotor's UNESCO-listed Old Town is one of the best preserved medieval centers in Europe and is completely overrun with cats. We spent 2 days covering the main things to do in Kotor, hiking up to a fortress, wandering cobblestone streets, walking the city walls, and taking a day trip to Perast. Some of it lived up to the hype, some of it didn't. Our apartment sat right next to one of the 2 trailheads leading up to Kotor Fortress, the side trail with 1,350 steps winding up the hillside. We started around 10 AM, joining the procession of other hikers who'd apparently also thought this was a good idea. Halfway up sits the Church of Our Lady of Remedy, a 16th century church that's become the spot for those classic Kotor photos. This is the view most people picture when they think of the city, red tiled roofs spreading out below with the bay behind. About an hour after starting, with stops for photos, we reached the summit. At the top, St. John's Fortress sits waiting. The views up here are excellent, but the fortress itself, fairly underwhelming for us. At €15 per person, it's not cheap. But then again, neither is anything else in Kotor these days. So if you want the full Kotor experience, then yes, do the hike. But if you've already done fortress climbs elsewhere in the Balkans and you're watching your budget, this one's skippable. Now, you might have read about a free route up called the Ladder of Kotor, a series of switchbacks that lets you climb through a hole in the fortification walls. We saw the hole ourselves, but they've removed the step that made it accessible. Some people still manage it according to reviews, but when we were there, it wasn't an option. From up here though, you get a clear view down to the port with cruise ships docked along the waterfront. So naturally, we headed down to see it up close. After coming back down, we walked through the sea gate and along the marina. There are market stalls, cruise ship tourists, the usual buzz of a port town. We continued past towards Kotor Beach for a bit. Heading back through the North Gate, we stepped properly into Old Town, and this is where Kotor really does something to you. It genuinely feels like walking onto a medieval film set. Narrow cobblestone streets, stone archways, medieval buildings rising up around you, except this one has actually stood here for 1,000 years. The Venetians ran Kotor for 400 years, from 1420 to 1797, and it shows. The plaza's filled with Italian, winged lions are carved into doorways, and the clock tower near the sea gate could have been lifted straight from Venice. St. Nicholas Church is worth stopping at. Built in 1909, this Serbian Orthodox church has a black and white striped facade that catches your eye, and entry is free. St. Tryphon Cathedral is another popular option if you're interested, 12th century with frescoes. There's an entry fee, so we didn't go in, but mornings are apparently the quieter time for photos. Kotor city walls are walkable too, and after weaving through the medieval streets for a while, getting up high for perspective felt about right. These defenses stretch about 4.5 kilometers and were built between the 9th and 19th centuries, with different rulers adding sections over time. Walking along something that's been standing for over 1,000 years does make you pause. Now, Kotor's picked up the nickname City of Cats, and you'll understand why within about 5 minutes. Cats are everywhere, perched on walls, sprawled across cobblestones, sitting in doorways. But they're not just strays. Locals feed them, shops are named after them, and souvenirs feature them. The legend goes that Kotor was a major trading port, so cats from ships around the world would jump off and stay. There's also a belief that they protected the city from rats and plague back in medieval times. At Cat Park, we counted over 20 cats, which was more than we expected. Turns out the City of Cats nickname wasn't exaggerating. It's essentially a cat hotel with little wooden huts, and volunteers come by daily with food. Nearby sits the Cat Museum, which explores Kotor's relationship with its cats through exhibits and artifacts. If you have more time, the Maritime Museum is also worth checking out. Housed in the Baroque Green Palace, it covers Kotor's long maritime history in detail. Old Town is compact enough that a day covers most of it, which left us with a question: what to do with day 2? Turns out, Perast was the answer. We took the bus out, and we'll share more about how to do it later. And after about 30 minutes, we arrived in a town that felt like a different world. After Kotor's crowds and prices, Perast was refreshing. Quiet, genuinely calm, photogenic without trying too hard. There's no real agenda here, you just walk around. But the buildings here aren't random. Perast was once home to wealthy sea captains. During its peak in the 17th and 18th centuries, the town had 4 shipyards and maintained a fleet of around 100 ships. Those grand palaces along the waterfront are what that prosperity left behind. There's a bell tower at St. Nicholas Church that you can climb. Entry to the chapel downstairs is free, and it's €1 to go up the tower. It was closed when we visited, but it's meant to offer good views. The main reason to come to Perast, though, is the boat trip to Our Lady of the Rocks. Boats leave from the waterfront, and the ride takes about 5 minutes out. If I could take you back to my youth. The island itself is one of only 2 man-made islands in the Adriatic. According to local legend, fishermen found an image of the Madonna and Child on the rock here. They started dropping stones after successful voyages, and over time, the island grew large enough to build on. The Church of Our Lady of the Rocks was constructed around 1720 in the Byzantine style. When we arrived, the church was absolutely packed, and after finding out there's another entry fee, we just admired it from the outside. We spent half a day in Perast, which felt about right. As a tourist city, dining in Kotor leans expensive. We ate at a square pub a couple of times for both breakfast and dinner. At around €13 per plate, it's one of the more affordable spots, serving Western food like pasta and breakfast plates. Pizzeria Pronto is another option if you want pizza by the slice. At €350 per slice, it's a solid budget choice. Our apartment sat right in Old Town with a kitchen and laundry, which made the stay convenient, and at €66 per night, it's one of the more affordable options too. The Blue Line bus to Perast leaves from outside Old Town's walls near the food market. It runs roughly once an hour, around 15 minutes past the hour. Tickets are about €2, paid in cash to the driver. Return buses leave Perast around 30 minutes past the hour. Ours took longer on the way back, with locals and school kids getting on and off the bus at different stops. 2 days felt like the right amount of time for Kotor. Old Town is compact, the fortress takes a morning, and Perast makes for a solid half-day trip. If this was useful, please like and subscribe for more guides from the Balkans. Click here to watch our next video.